All right, so let's see. I think the dice roll still needs to happen, right? I mean, how do you see this matchup? Madolche versus Dragonling.
So, yeah, Madolche is one of the most scary decks in the game, for me, at least. It's just so strong. It has very good removal, very good effects, high value effects. It can easily both end on an impressive end board and kill you with ease. And it's very scary to play against this deck because you really, if you're not familiar with the strategy, you don't know what's going to happen. But Dragonland, on the other hand, is a very versatile deck. It can do a lot of very different plays. But it's going to be, I think one of the important factors here is the dimension shifter that is being played in the deck of Axel. So that's going to be one of the MVPs in this duel, because it's going to be difficult for Dragonling to play through that. But of course, Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spirits is easily summonable. So I'm not really sure what the matchup would be. Maybe Gabriel played against Madolche a lot and he knows what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could assume, maybe based on like previous formats, that's more well, even without LP, Dragonling should have the advantage over Madolche. But as you've mentioned before, Madolche is prepared. We're seeing the shifter in the main deck. Herald is also there, so that's an interesting one. Gamma is also there if he goes, both first and second. But it seems that Dragonling is going first. So for Madolche, depends again which hand traps. Well, if he has any hand traps, exactly. I was saying.
So we're going to start off with a quick launch, summoning the Rocket Tracer, and there is the card that we talked about, Noctovision.
That's so strong. You already have Tracer for the potential striker. There is Noctovision for the easy link to play plus draw. So huge. That's already a very powerful starter play, right?
I really like Noctovision. Did you know he has a second effect? The one that activates when you target a set card, I believe. That's such a cool, interesting card. Dragunity Knight Roman is coming down, being one of the most important cards of the deck, of course, right now.
Yeah, probably Searching Ravine, right? It's pretty the most common. I mean, there are Dragonling decks that are, playing like a small Dragunity package. Maybe search out, what is it called? The continuous spell for Dragunity Spears?
Dragon Ravine.
No, it's not. That's the field, right? The equip spell, yeah.
Lens?
Lens, yeah. That's it.
Gamma coming down on the Dragunity, that's impactful. That's what you want to do against this deck. You want to hit the cards that get advantage. Noctovision, however, will still resolve, being the Chainlink 1. Interesting that he didn't really want to protect his monster.
Mm-hmm. Because of the Chainlinks, right?
Exactly, but he is free to use Boot Sector to Monster Reborn his Tracer now.
Tracer, again, when it was released, it had such a big of an impact because, again, it's one card, it's searchable off of, let's say, Quick Launch, plus Quick Effect, plus can target, quote-unquote, any face-up card to, capitalize on an activated card. Again, plus it's a Quick Effect, it does so much for the deck. Starter, extender.
Exactly. He did draw the Boot Sector, which is interesting to see. Drawing the one off, of course, Striker Dragon, not even needed. And that's the Chamber, normal summon Chamber Dragon base.
That's strong, right? That's already... that's already an interruption. So for, let's say, Madolche could play through a field. I mean, if you take a look at his deck list, he's not... Well, of course, he's meaning like Nibiru. Nibiru could be there still.
Yeah, there are still options.
Mm-hmm.
You can also just wait for the Savage, of course, to come down. But his turn isn't done yet. There's still a couple of things to go. He is counting summons, so this is either a bluff or there is the Nibiru, the Primal Being, coming down.
Right. The thing, though, now is that the reason why Madolche, what's it called? Is it Pettingcessor, I believe the name is? The level 4 that has the capability to special summon itself from the hand, and then, special summon from deck. And it's basically your one-card combo, but it has, one downside, is that you can't have any monsters in your graveyard, right? To get that special summon effect from the hand. So, okay, upside is that you now have monsters in your graveyard for Hoodcake.
Exactly.
So,
this was a very well-timed Nibiru, the Gamma Nibiru combo coming down, but we do have to wait and see if Alex can even start playing as well.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, Gabriel Netz's turn is just done, unfortunately.
we know the tidying, that's the name, right? Tidying is set.
Dragon Maid tidying.
Yeah. It's not live. Again, no dragon to bounce.
Interesting to see that the Dragon Maids, it took a little while until they started seeing play in Dragon decks, even though they're so very strong. There are a lot of cool new dragons in the game.
So Axel now has a couple of plays. Does he have Angeli? Does he have...
coming down.
That's strong. Again, one of the more newer cards from Madolche. I mean, Madolche has been an archetype. It has been part of Yu-Gi-Oh! For a lot of years now, but in their most recent support waves, Madolche Saloon, however you... Salon, however you pronounce it, it's a powerful card. Gives the deck an extra normal summon plus search, if I'm not mistaken, yeah.
How much can you want for your archetype? This is perfect. Once the Brilliant Fusion engine got hit, they lost their double summon, but that was years ago, and they have been waiting for another way to double normal summon, and now an in-archetypal spell card that does more for the deck. I really don't know what else you can wish for.
Yeah, true. And that's also the reason why I like Madolche, is because of Angeli. She's so flexible. She can tutor basically any Madolche directly from the deck. So you need Hootcake. Okay, you can go for Hootcake. Banish a monster, special summon. That's Petting Cessor. Yeah. So he's probably... I mean, you could definitely go for game, right? Depends on which...
What the Madolche does?
Yeah.
You're
true. True. So I think Gabriel does have like 2 or 3 cards. Two cards, in hand.
He does play a lot of hand traps.
So that's the rank 4 play. So Tiramisu is live. You could definitely go for Tiramisu. Not sure if Ticket is already used. I don't think so.
No, he only activated it.
Yeah. So it's either Glass Souffle or the
Utopia double. Oh,
yeah, imagine. So that's Tiramisu, right? Yeah, it should be. So detach. That's the thing. Is that okay?
It's gonna be looked up. Yeah.
You want to have like an empty graveyard in order for, let's say, Petting Cessor to activate her effect, but at the same time you want to have your Madolche cards, monsters, for example, to be there in the graveyard to use Tiramisu and send them back, let's say, to the deck. So targeting the 2.
You're already in such a bad spot if you have to look up your opponent's cards, so I can really feel how Gabriel is feeling right now. And the token is gone, and the tidying gets shuffled back into the deck, so that's also a resource that he is losing.
Right. So yeah, that's the thing, right? The Ticket is definitely only a one-off in Madolche, just like the Chateau, like Field Spell. But Salon is a 3-off, so Axel is playing 3 Salon, again to search one of the traps if it is there. Yeah, Promenade, that was the name. Basically like a breakthrough skill, an effect negation in the form of a trap card. But this is probably going to be... Well, no. Nibiru is still there. Madolche is a deck that has the capability to play around Nibiru by going for, let's say, an early Glass Souffle, but it's not that strong, but it's there. If you expect your opponent having Nibiru.
The cards are being picked up.
Yeah.
That's Tiramisu for your entire field in hand. Everything goes back in the deck.
It's I can't remember, but I think Tiramisu, was it part of the first wave of Madolche? I think so, right?
I think it was. Let's take a quick look at Tiramisu.
And it's a very powerful card. It's very easy for Madolche to get out on the field, plus easy disruption.
All the way from Abyss Rising.
Right. Years ago.
2012.
Wow.
You're seeing this card in 9 years.
Yeah, that's
right. And I still have nightmares from the day that I saw it first.
Okay, let's take a look at the side decks.
All right.
Let's see what Axel Madolche can potentially side deck in.
Right, so we're seeing another Contact C. So that's a very popular card, this YCS. Anti-spell, kind of basic. The Alpha is Alpha Master of the Beast. He's only playing 1, but it is super, super strong versus Dragon Link specifically as well. And then there's a Pancratops, so I feel like the Alpha, Contact C's, Pancratops are all cards that can definitely go in. And I feel like Gabriel's surprisingly siding a small part of his Dragon Maid engine, so that's gonna come in because he knows he's gonna go first. And maybe out some hand traps and in some triple tactic talents.
Right.
Twin Twisters versus the spells and the field spell. Maybe good. Maybe good.
Would you, as let's say Gabriel, Dragon Link, you're probably going to go first, right? Would you side deck in those Twin Twisters?
I feel like he can. I feel like what I would personally do if I was in Gabriel's seat right now is to just play the control game. Just summon the chamber, summon an extender, make spheres before the 5th summon, pass turn. Tidying seals is going to be a big FTK versus Madolche, bouncing their play, and then they just stop playing. And honestly, I think that Gabriel's in a good spot here. Unfortunately, he just couldn't play through a Gamma Nibiru, but what deck realistically can play through that?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Axel did have he had Angeli, right? Angeli, he had Gamma Nibiru, so going second, that's already a very powerful opener.
Exactly. It's cool to see, though, that Gabriel is kind of forced to play a little bit more resource and value game. He's going to play a little bit more greedy, like we saw. That's because he didn't just make a Savage and then summon Chamber. No, he actually just had to dig for more cards. I think he really wasn't done with his turn yet. So it could have been very interesting to see where he was going to go with the rest of his turn, but it was cut off by the Nibiru.
And he, if I remember correctly, he had like 2 cards in hand, but sadly no hand traps, even though, I mean, if you peek at his list, he is playing a ton of hand traps in like 40 sharp deck, so the chances are still quite high. He opened really well. Yeah, as we've mentioned, quick launch, the Nocto Vision.
Chamber.
Yeah, Chamber as well, normal summon. But that wasn't enough. So as Dragon Links again, you probably want to go first. I mean, Gabriel is laughing, so they're having a good time. That's cool. That's
cool. It's still Yu-Gi-Oh! We're still having fun here and playing the game. Even though we are at the highest of competitiveness at this moment, it's still, you're playing Madolche and Dragon Link. It's kind of unreal to sit here. So yeah, good luck to both duelists.
Right. It's also refreshing, right? We see a lot of, let's take a glimpse at the top 8, 5 Tri-Brigades. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 3 pure and 2 zoo variants. So that's a lot of Tri-Brigades ready in the upcoming matches. So, I mean, one of these players are moving on to the top 4. So that's either Madolche or Dragon Link there. So that's refreshing, right?
Madolche refreshes start.
The start. Got it. Okay, let's take a look. So Gabriel again going first. Normal summoning, that's strong. Definitely search out.
Coming down.
No disruption from Axel.
Chamber, objectively the best Dragon Maid. Getting that tidying going.
Mentioned before, would you have expected Dragon Link in, let's say, because again this is top 8, would you have expected Dragon Link in top 8? Because again, one striker, no LP. Is that enough to carry Gabriel to, let's say, you know, this match and then eventually all the way to the finals?
I still feel Spheres tidying is still something that they can do, and that was just one of the most powerful things that Dragon Link could do. It could go all wombo combo on you and end on multiple negates. It could also just end on Spheres tidying and then also proceed to win. I think, like I said before, this is just a sleeper deck, and there are just not people playing it. I'm also not sure if you would always win against Tri-Brigade, but if the math is right, Seal is 1, bounce tidying is another, and that's all Tri-Brigade can do.
Right.
Gabriel is popping off here, making the Striker Dragon, getting Boot Sector, summoning Recharger, a card that you really rather would not see. And there it is.
That's really strong. I mean, Dimensional Shift, it's very similar to Macrocosmos, right?
It's better. It's Macrocosmos in your opponent's turn 1.
Yeah. Your opponent hardly can chain anything to it. So is that Spheres? I think Spheres, double sets? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I mean, against Madolche, the normal summon is crucial, so that's probably, let's say, going to get bounced back. There is a potential... Well, the shifter is there, so no Putting Cessor. It's not live, the special summoning effect. Salon could, you know, potentially give Madolche the extra normal summon. So...
What is going to be interesting here is that if I am correct, then the Heretic Seal... when he is tributed, he can summon one, but I'm not sure if he is tributed and banished, he can still summon another dragon from the deck. But so far, it's still looking good for Gabriel.
Yeah, a couple of disruptions, and as I mentioned before, Madolche, again, the normal summon is crucial. If you're able to stop that, it's very hard to come back again, unless some specific cards in the form of Salon the Petting Cessor, but again, Petting Cessor is not live. Magellan, that's cool. That's your Stratos of the deck, right? Normal summon, search a monster.
Stratos was the last match. But...
Yeah. So I mean, what could you search? Probably a petting, but
the petting with your
it's not live. It could be gimmicky and play stuff like Soul Release, but you're not going to do that, right?
You're not going to Soul Release your own card, exactly. Right, let's take a quick look at the Heretic Seal. You can tribute 1 monster from your hand or field, so it doesn't have to go to the graveyard. Return 1 face-up card from the field to the hand. If this card is tributed, special summon 1. So this Heretic Seal can just properly resolve, even though there is a dimension shifter.
So it's indeed.
And he is going to bounce the Magellan. Or will he bounce something else? Is it threatening to leave the Magellan on board? You can also just bounce with... No, because you kind of want to have the monster that it summons, so I can feel like...
I mean, this is fine though. He searched out, was it Hootcake? Kind of fleshed it a little bit. So for next turn, he could potentially pop off, but the question is there going to be a next turn?
If Gabriel plays his cards outright and there's just nothing in Axel's hand, then I am afraid that there will be no next turn. Because Dragon Link, even without LP, just kills you.
So again, Tracer hits the board. That could potentially be used during Axel's turn. Potentially get a beneficial search. So it's not looking too great for Axel. He already used up his normal summon. He hard drew the field spell, so that's
something you don't want.
No, you definitely want to search that one out off of what is it called? Is it Messengelato? It has been a while.
Messengelato searches spells.
Yeah, that's a level 4, right? Maybe we can show that on screen if it's possible later. Again, one of the first cards that were released from Adolce years ago. So again, only 1 set. That could be the... let's take a look. Promenade. Oh, he's also main decking Gozen match. So that could be Gozen.
What would be funny if it was called by the grave and he couldn't activate it on the spheres because it was banished because of shifting.
Right.
So yeah, Gabriel's still looking up those Madolce cards. He'll have to.
Yeah.
This is why they have 10 minutes extension, because you just cannot pick up your opponent's cards and read them.
So now we see the power of Dragon Link, right? Again, it's one of those decks that has the capability to play during your opponent's turn. The tidying, of course, the interaction, as we've mentioned before. That's the thing, right? That's what makes Tracer so powerful. Activate one of your cards and then chain your Tracer, targeting the card.
Tidying, is he doing this in the end phase?
I'm not sure, or maybe end of main phase. That's something we can't.
No, it has to be end phase.
Yeah.
I thought it would be his turn. I'm not sure why. Maybe he's very scared of the background.
End of main phase would be, strange, because you can just reset it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Then it's kind of darker. All right, interesting that he chose to do this before. Because the tidying is now banished. If you could have waited 1 turn and you could have gotten out another chamber.
Maybe for us it's a bit easier because again we see both lists. We know the options of Axel aren't that high, which that potential set could be. Again, goes and match Promenade and potential side decked in cards. But again, not too many. Anti-Spell, Twin Twister maybe. But again, we now know that those cards, they are answered by the trap in your own turn,
exactly.
Right? So here's where Gabriel could definitely seal the deal, but for me it's hard to believe that if Axel is main decking and side decking so many hand traps.
Why is there a Rocket Synchron in attack?
Okay.
Does it have... Oh, it gains 300 attack because of Boot Sector Launch, that's right. Okay. In case you forgot that Boot Sector Launch gives your monsters attack for some reason.
It could be relevant, even though it's still more than half an hour on time. So that's cool.
Gabriel's doing exactly like I said, and he's just going to play the control game. There's another spheres. So the thing is, he probably has the second tidying set now. So that can kind of provide a reason why he didn't want to play the tidying in his own turn. Because he already has it, so there's no reason to summon back chamber, and he also doesn't want to extend anymore.
Right, so we know the potential Hoot Cake is ready, but again, Hoot Cake takes up your normal summon. Another Magellan, okay.
It's the same one, right? It bounced.
That's your Struggles. That's Petting Cessor, I think. It's interesting. Okay, yeah, the sphere is still there, so we'll go. Okay, so maybe he top decked Salon. That would be something to get himself back in a duel. I mean, he is playing 3 copies of Madolche Salon. So again, the sphere's triggering. What could he search out? Maybe another Tracer.
Look, he doesn't play the Red Eyes package, which is interesting. There's no Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon or a Black Metal Dragon. So maybe the second chamber can come down, maybe just another Rocket, or maybe even a Noctovision, but the Safer's also a solid pick.
It's basically, setting himself up for next turn. So yeah, Axel kind of seems, I was about to say weak. Again, just relying on the normal summon. A lot of cards in hand. Those might be, those bricks, messenger Latos, which you don't really want to have in your hand. Does he have an extender or follow-up play? Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's strong. That's strong. That's really strong. So he probably top decked it.
Look it up.
So again, Saloon or Salon gives you the extra normal summon, so Hoot Cake is definitely going to be dropped. Now, we don't know what, Gabriel's set is there next to his deck.
I mean, he cannot really tidying it, because he can just get it back. Unless you can only activate 1 per turn, but I cannot imagine that.
So there is indeed the beneficial normal summon, and that's the thing is that now Hoot Cake, if it goes through, you can banish the shifter from graveyard, and now that will make Petting Cessor live. So this could be a very crucial play. So let's see if Gabriel does have like an answer for this.
Hoot Cake is a normal summon, right?
Yeah, correct. So this is his second normal summon.
It's kind of one or the other now, because if the Safer sticks, it's going to be very beneficial for Gabriel. But it has to stick, that's kind of the thing.
He needs something to disrupt the Hoot Cake, otherwise again... We've said it multiple times that it might be game, but it might eventually be game, because, okay, so the Hoot Cake is going through. Interruption, okay, that's strong, that's strong.
That's not just a failure, that's a failure.
So that keeps the shifter in the graveyard. Again, very crucial, because now Petting Cessor is not live. It will not flood the field with multiple special summons. So again, they are really strong. And this might be it for Gabe.
The second tidying,
yeah,
like we said earlier. He did pass turn, right? He drew for turn as well. So now the tidying is in the graveyard. Oh, he did.
And face. Yeah.
Okay. So now he can activate the tidying, and he can summon back the chamber, proving that the Dragon Mates are still a powerful engine.
Yeah, it needs to pop off, right? We've seen Gabriel struggling a bit with the hand traps. I mean, that's the thing, right? That's what your deck does. If your opponent has hand trap after hand trap, it's very easy or very hard to establish your board. But as soon as you're able to break open, if you're able to break it, you can start to establish your combos. So Tracer is getting reborn.
Yeah, let's just state that Gabriel is playing this out so well, like not using the tidying immediately, getting the value out of the monster reborn from the boot sector launch, then summoning it, sequencing his plays very well.
You see that Madolche does have only 2 cards in hand. We know, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, one of them is the Petting Cessor, right?
Yeah.
He searched it out.
And the other one is the Angeli.
It's one set. One of them, maybe a trap. It's because it was bounced back, right? So I think Gabe is pretty safe to play through this, right?
Yeah. If his perception is just as good as his sequencing, then this is gonna be taken by the Dragon Link for a swift 1/1. But he does have to play it out. The Chaotic Ruler. The Chaos Ruler.
Yeah, the Chaos Ruler. Yeah.
Dragon.
This card, I mean,
look at the Black Dragon hit. And the Chaos Space hit. Oh, we love to see it. That's insane.
Yeah. Even though Wyvern Burstar and Collapse Serpent are both that one, the cards are so strong. They are immediate advantage. They are dragons, level 4 dragons on the field, provides easy level 8 synchro plays, link plays. they are so powerful.
This has to be one of the best mills I've ever seen on a live stream before. This is insane. Milling the exact card you would want to mill, and then also milling Chaos Space.
Chaos Ruler is such a powerful synchro, right? It's one of the few level 8 synchros they're playing, next to, I guess, Boral Savage.
Exactly, yeah.
Plus, okay, you can mill or excavate. Yeah. 5. And yeah, basically you synchro up for 9, right? So there it is. More. Is this Scarlight?
Yeah,
Scarlight, right?
That's Hot Red Dragon.
Yeah, the negation, yeah, obviously. Because Scarlight is level 8, no?
Yeah, the level 8 that burns damage and
correct.
destroy.
So the Chaos Ruler, again, has the capability to special summon it back from the graveyards. The Wyver Burstar Collapse Serpent package is alive, so this might be game. This might be game for Gabriel.
It's looking good.
Because, again, I think unless we miss something, both cards in hand are quite safe. Okay.
Fisty. In the extra monster zone.
I mean, it's fine, because again, you're only having one striker to trigger both the Wyver Burstar and Collapse Serpent.
And he doesn't really need it anymore. He's just gonna push for game here, make a link to summon back the Chaotic Ruler. And this is. Did he make the? He didn't make the Dragoonity yet, right?
No, I don't think so.
He did mill
Remus.
the Dragon Ravine. So, but he still has like many options. White coming down.
Only one card in hand, so Pisty is not live again. We know that he's trying to trigger or activate the Chaos Ruler or Chaos Spaces, although that's already a plus. Hopefully a strong extender. I mean, if you're a Gabriel, I'm hoping that, right?
Chaos Space is easily one of my favorite cards in the game. I think I just love Chaos. I'm a little bit of an old school player sometimes myself, and I just like the Chaotic Ruler and the Chaos Space are just so cool cards. You have so many implications. And not only to the baby dragons that we are seeing right now, but also Chaos Space can search out ritual monsters as well. It's so wild. It's
a really versatile card. I mean, the most cards are the most played cards from the top of my head that it searches out is like Levianir, Chaos Creator, maybe, even though it's not
also
that common.
Very powerful.
Very powerful card, also from Toon Chaos, right?
Vendred, Battlelord.
Yeah,
if you're a Drytron player before Diviner got released. Yeah, there are many applications.
So that's a 3+ already for Gabriel. Is this enough damage? It's 5/8, yeah, that should be enough. So Hoodcake is going to get bounced back.
No, just attacked. It's just attacked. Oh, it's gonna go back.
Go back to the deck, but it's going to trigger. Oh man, it has been a while, right? But I don't think it matters. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So okay, 1/1. That's cool. Gabriel coming back now. As again, we take a look at both deck lists. Should Axel go first with Not Dolce? Probably, right?
I feel like he's gonna just struggle to play through that spheres like we've seen before. It's just he has to bait it out, and he can, and the card gets bounced back, and he has Salon, but it's also just a whole bunch of if I have Salon, I can play through it, and if I have a monster that's good to normal summon, then I can play through it. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what's gonna happen. Shifter is still MVP. And could play a huge part, but this duel was lost under a first turn Shifter. So.
Right, we can't overlook that, right? Even though it's a 3-off, it's not searchable, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
So, okay, you still
can recycle it though.
Okay.
But Dolce can activate multiple dimension shifters throughout the duel, which is scary.
Right, you can.
Fair as well.
Yeah, the thing is though is that. Again, as we've mentioned before, Nadolce has the capability to pump out, or at least it does have multiple 1 cards, like 1.5 card combos, to pump out a really strong board, thanks to Chocolate. That's the name, right? Chocolate Alamote, the rank 5, if I'm not mistaken. And together with, what is it called, the level 5 one? The... Pudding Cess. Yeah, Pudding Cess. Right. Yeah, correct. And then, getting those free special summons from the deck, establish your board, eventually ending with, let's say, Assist Star to your Link 2, protecting your spells and traps, so that's strong. Shutting down your opponent's, let's say, Twin Twister, for example.
Also and Madolce Promenade, also a card.
Which is also searchable. I liked playing this when I was playing Madolche. I think it's called Madolche Knights. It's the counter trap.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah, I remember that card.
but I believe it's only I can't because it has been a while, but I think it's only live when you have pudding cess on your side, or you can negate like a monster effect. But if you have pudding cess on the field, you can, let's say, forceful sentry target a card in your opponent's hand and send it back to the deck. I believe it's something like that.
Yeah.
But again, it has been a while. But again,
get the decks real quick, because that's indeed a very powerful card. It's kind of slow this meta.
yeah, Axel is not playing it, by the way, so that's something to keep in mind.
Let's take a quick look what Promenade does again. For those of you at home that don't know what it does, and me, target one face card your opponent controls and one Madolche monster you control in your graveyard. Negate the effects of that opponent's card until the end of the turn, and if you do, return your monster to the hand. You can banish it from the grave to target a Madolche XYZ, and attach one Madolche monster from your hand to deck or graveyard to it as feature. So it feels like tidying 0.5.
It's kind of like a breakthrough skill, so it's super easy, a super easy card. It's very easy to search out as well. It negates any monster effect plus, and again, as you've mentioned before, it has the capability to be recycled from the graveyard back to the hand. If you have the correct Madolche spells and phase up, right? So there is Madolche Knights, but again, it's not in the main and side deck. But it's something to think about if you're a fan of Madolche. Something I definitely liked running.
Yeah, and Madolche Knight, of course, the counter trap that we talked about earlier. Yeah. When a monster effect is activated, if you have no monsters in your graveyard, negate the activation. Then, if you control Madolche Pudding Cess, shuffle one random card for your opponent's hand into the deck.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, not too many players know that, but again, it's very very specific, because again, you have to have your pudding cess on the field.
And no cards in the grave.
You kind of can do that with stuff like Glass Souffle and Sistar to get it on the field during your opponent's turn, but you need to go first then, right? Anyway, so normal summon Magellan, that's strong. It searches out Cutting Cessor, and again, with no monsters in the graveyard, you're very easy, or you're allowed to drop Pudding Cessor, Patting Cessor from your hand to the field. Try to use the effect. So what are potential counters here in case of Gabriel?
Vader, Ash, Gamma. He plays Gamma. He plays Gamma.
Nibiru is also there. So that's a lot. That's a lot. Like 9 cards.
How many times is the Magellan summoned this match? This is like the 5th time it's normal summon.
Yeah. So again, strong Angeli being that Madolche name, or just a monster in the graveyard, right? Could be important for, let's say, Hoot Cake or Glass Souffle to potentially, chocolate eventually, the combo, right? So
Axel is kind of showing his deck while he was searching there, and we saw one of the powerful cards in his hand, which is Herald of the Orange Light. Very interesting tech. Even though it sends monsters to the graveyard, it's still all fairies in the Madolche archetype. So.
Right, that's something I now overlooked, but indeed Herald could, or is there. So let's say, if Gabriel does have Nibiru, Herald is still there to play through Nibiru. So you're basically playing 4 copies of Call by the Grave, right? But Herald is a bit more flexible. So again, the Prosperity, that's interesting. Okay, that's I guess cool. Let me remember, Madolche does not have any draw effects, if I'm not mistaken, so that's cool.
Anti-spell, Nibiru,
so 6.
Anti-spell, that's Ticket.
And Gozen.
Versus a Dark Dragon deck.
What should he pick?
I feel like Anti-spell can be very solid if he doesn't have one already. I think he's just looking for, he already has a setup, so he's not looking for more Madolche cards. So. You can just add whatever you want at this point.
The anti-spell is cool, because again, let's say if, Gabriel does have Nibiru, he's going to potentially, or he could play around it again, Glass Souffle. But still, okay, so again, Glass Souffle hits the board. Let's say if Nibiru is there, okay, anti-spell could potentially hold off Gabriel. If he does have a lot of spells, prevents Ravine, Boot Sector, Quick Launch can be chained.
Exactly.
But
so that is the new rank 4, right? Is that
Glass Souffle has new. Yeah, I think it was part of one of the later releases of Madolche. It has an effect that but again, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe we can show the card on screen as well, is like detach and then target a monster, I think, on the field, and then that monster should be unaffected, I think, by monster effects. I think that's the case. It has been a while.
I'm also saying it's new, but it's still a rare, and we haven't seen rares in main sets for a long time. It still feels kind of new. Right, let's take a quick look at the Glass Souffle. Quick effect, detach one material, target one phase of Madolche monster on the field this turn. That phase of monster is unaffected by opponent's monster effects.
Right. Except
its own. Madolche cards into the graveyard, what is carded on the field. Except during the game, shuffle up the 2 cards from the graveyard to the deck. So,
yeah, that's the thing, right? Let's say if you want to play it like cautiously, eventually pass, let the Glass Souffle stay on the field, and during your opponent's turn, use Glass Souffle, send cards back from your deck, from your graveyard back to the deck, or maybe take them back to your hands, and that could potentially trigger, let's say, tickets, and ticket gets out the, the petting cessor, and that could potentially get out pudding cess, and that could make your knights live, right? Exactly. Madolche knights. So that's like a big sequence, but I feel those are some quote-unquote standard, Madolche combos, right? Because those combos get you there.
Exactly. And in the meanwhile, we've seen Madolche Salon, huge play, and a second hood cake, it's insane. For the first hood, that's the first hood cake. It's going to summon the Messenger Lado, searching another card, and it's looking very solid for Axel. He has his entire setup.
Yeah, this is, again, the play, as I've mentioned before. You now have the capability to, okay, if your opponent has Nibiru, Glass Souffle is there. Searching Promenade, so again, the potential monster negation. So, okay, it's looking really good for Axel. Still no interruption from Gabriel. So again, not looking too great, but, Nibiru could still get in there. Is he playing, or Lightning Storm is not there, no? In the side deck, Talons. Would you keep Talons?
I would maybe keep in Talons because he plays hand traps, so you can just steal games, like stealing your opponent's monster. And there's the fresh start coming down.
Yeah.
Which, when it was released, wasn't really the card that Madolche players were looking for, but now that Salon is there, it's actually significantly in the deck.
Yeah, back in the previous Master Rule, it opens up those. I mean, Madolche was one of those decks that needed a link back then, years ago. Now with the current Master Rule, it's much easier to special summon those extra deck monsters. But Sistart again now, as you've mentioned, protecting your back row, your Madolche spells and traps, that's important. So we saw a Messenger Lato. Was it sent back to the deck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now eventually searching the tickets, if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
Not the golden match that was kind of stuck to the card.
Right. So ticket is flipped face up. I mean, the thing with Madolche kind of reminds me of, like I was about to say Paleozoic, but I mean, it's like a deck that, if it's able to put up those continuous spells and eventually, Chateau as well, the field spell, it's so hard to break their board.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just like comboing to all the one-offs that you're playing in your deck, and once you have to, it's just a solid deck.
Aha. Okay. So this is again one of those plays that I mentioned before. You're not going full ham into Nibiru with chocolate and so on. So anti-spell is there. Glass Souffle for the potential interruption. The DD Crow effect is there.
And the other side card is a Promenade.
Yeah.
So he has a little bit of a task ahead.
This is strong. Not sure how Gabriel is able to break this. So anti-spell is flipped presumably in the draw phase, right?
Exactly.
So he's looking at the Sistart. It protects every, I feel, Madolche spell and trap, right? It's not protecting the anti-spell. But not sure how Gabriel is going to get through this. Plus potential hand traps. I think Axel only has one card in hand. So again, pretty much the ideal setup if you're a Madolche player.
Exactly. And all the cards are quickly looked up with Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron, new app.
Yeah.
It's solid. Very helpful in the dueling.
Yeah, plus for decklists, again, very easy.
Exactly.
Interesting to see if it's going to get connected with Master Duel.
Yeah,
right?
That's something that all the players have been very excited for in their interviews, and so are we. I'm looking forward to for a bright future for the card game with the brand new simulator that's coming. Hopefully very soon.
Right. Yeah, we don't know. We saw in the trailer 2021, so hopefully it's still this year. But still a couple of months, but yep, we're definitely looking forward to that.
Normal summon the Rocket Synchron, special summon the
Right.
Nocturne Vision. I mean, even though there's an anti-spell and there's a breakthrough skill and there's a Glass Souffle, I don't want to down talk the deck because he has so much follow-up, but it doesn't look that scary.
That's the thing, right?
Almost no removal.
Yeah. It doesn't look scary, but it is. Because Sistart protects. You have Promenade to negate. In this case, anti-spell is there. Plus, if you don't get rid of the field, it's game over next turn, because again, Salam gives you a normal summon and the Hooch Cake is still there. So if you can't break the board, this is probably going to be game over. So no, it's not Remus, Romulus, no?
Romulus, yeah.
Right. Remus is the Dragonity from Ghosts from the past.
Yeah, the level 2.
The thing is that we finally got the Dragonity cards in Groves from the past, so I was like, well, post-ban list, LP got, banned Striker Dragon to 1. Oh, okay, we might see, the new Dragonity cards hitting Dragon Link, if Dragon Link is still the a relevant deck, a top-tier deck. But Gabriel decided not to play those, so...
No, exactly. I feel like Control is just better at this point. Mm-hmm. Why would you try the Wombo combo when there's really... It's very difficult to work towards something without the easy summon of the card drain LP that is currently on the Forbidden and Limited list.
Right. That's Levineer is really strong. Okay. So it's one of those cards that, with like banish, I believe, he banished like Light and Dark, so he can pop 2 cards, or at least up to 2 cards, if not mistaken.
I love this card so much.
Oh no,
he banished 3 Darks, of course, the last card in the deck. So now he knows exactly what he is dealing with. There's a sort of DD Crow on the field through the Glass Souffle, there's a Promenade, and there's an anti-spell. So does Gabriel have the power to play through this field? It doesn't look that impossible anymore to me, but it's going to be difficult without spell cards.
Yeah, if he already had the quick launch, he probably, already would have activated that one. He can't, use like Ravine, no boot sector. The Link 3 is hitting the board.
I think this is going to be a
or Link
Spears.
2. Yeah, probably. Do they even play Link 3s these days?
Is that a Spears?
It's a Unicorn. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I was a bit too fast. So Unicorn, that's cool. Going second.
You can shuffle back the anti-spell. You can start playing. What did he discard? The cost?
Then again, it's probably going to get negated by the Promenade. Yep. Okay, but that's cool. Again, something forced out by Gabriel. I mean, you have to give it to Gabriel. He's still trying. He's still trying. So that's cool.
You have to. Yeah. You're 1-1. The game is far from being played.
This is the thing, is that, okay, Sistart is there to protect your Madolche spells and traps, but as soon as you, against Madolche, go into the battle phase, attack, let's say, in this case, over Hooch Cake, you're giving Madolche so much advantage, right? But, I mean, what can you do? Hooch Cake is gone, but it's going to be sent back to the deck, but I think, because of the continuous spells, you can take it back to the hand, and then eventually trigger your tickets and Promenade to, again, search Madolche, trap, or spell, depending on which ones you have in your deck. And
Promenade is being set once again. That's going to look more and more difficult.
This is a rough one for Gabriel. I'm not seeing a comeback here.
Maybe if there's a baby Chaos Dragon? There is not.
I'm not sure what's happening here.
He's attacking over the stars, over something, and then it gets shuffled back instead.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Something we've mentioned, at least we didn't or haven't mentioned yet, is the Sistart also has a protection effect of her own, right? If I'm not mistaken, like banish a Madolche card from your graveyard.
Yeah,
I think so. It has been a while, but no, it's not looking too great. Yeah,
very unfortunate for the Gabriel. I don't want to declare a winner too fast, but this is going to be very, very difficult for Gabriel to take this game to a win, and Axel has access to everything now.
Right, yeah. Plus, Promenade is set, but Promenade only hits face-ups, right? It doesn't hit Nibiru. Yeah, correct. So that's Pudding says, right? Pudding says hits the board, so potential Tiramisu is eventually hitting the board as well. He's still under Nibiru. Not sure. This is summon number 3?
Yeah.
3. And that should be enough damage, if I'm not mistaken.
Did they get attack from a ticket? Or
No,
from
no,
field
it's
spell?
the field spell. Yeah, the field spell gives them, is it 500, I think?
Yeah, 500 to each mid-Dolce. Yeah.
So 2 cards getting bounced back, and that should trigger unless he... Right, yeah, tickets, Salon as well. That could potentially surge the...
And
Yeah,
it's
this
just
game,
gonna-
yeah.
Unfortunately for Gabriel, but congratulations to Axel, the winner of the duel.
Right. Okay, let's come back to us.